from Grantlytics who are going to be walking you through what this product is that they've created and do a brief demo, and then also open this up for some Q&A so that you can ask your questions and understand a little bit more about this. Given that this is a new product and that we are very intent on bringing new services, new tools, and new products to you to make your lives better, to make your lives easier. We are offering this product exclusively through Together SC, so it is just for our members. That is how you purchase this product. And those who purchase this product, which is a subscription, will receive a 20% discount as, again, a benefit for being a Together SC member. And so, with that, I'm just going to leave it at that. We can answer more questions later on, but I would like to turn over the lecture hall, I guess I'll say, to our two friends from Harvard University, Abdi Gulid and Kedaar. They both have worked on this product and are the founders of Grantlytics. And we're very pleased to have both of them here with us today to tell you a little bit about this amazing product and what it can do for you. So, with that, I am going to turn it over, as I said, to Abdi and Kedaar.
Thank you so much, Karen, and thank you. We're very excited about this collaboration. South Carolina is incredible. The team of the association is incredible. So we're very excited to bring this to you and then see how we can work together. I think I'll just give a quick background on us, myself and Kedar, and then I'll talk a little bit about how this whole organization started and the background for it and what we're solving, which some of it some Karen touched upon. And then Kedar will show you the actual product and walk you through that for a little bit, and then we'll do a demo with a few of you. So if someone is interested in being part of the demo, please just type in on the chat and say, my organization, I know what I'm looking for in grants, and I can be part of the demo. So we'll take few of them. I think we have enough time to take few, and then we'll jump into Q&A after that. I hope that sounds good. So everyone, hi, my name is Abdi. This is Kedar. We graduated from Harvard Ed School earlier this year in May, and since then we've been working as Harvard Entrepreneur Fellows, meaning that we got some funding early on to work on the intersection between AI and technology and figure out are there projects out there or processes that we can help use AI to streamline and help automate. Before that, both of us have been in the product and technology management space in the financial sector, as well as being part of multiple nonprofits, both on the student admission side, as well as the mentorship and tutoring. We've never been part of the operation side of nonprofit, but we've been always been connected to different nonprofits and helping them, as I said. We had a problem earlier this year, or rather a project that we were working on earlier this year, which was a math project focused on improving comprehension for the K-12 students in the United States. So there are 50 million students in the K-12 space, and 61% of them are below grade level in math. And as we were being part of multiple classes at the school, we were trying to figure out, are there ways that we can use AI to understand the actual root cause of students being below grade level in math, and what are some of the factors that we could look into to improve comprehension. We used AI to understand more of the research that has been done in the past decades, and then did our own research with a professor at this school and came to the conclusion that the problem with the comprehension level was not that the student didn't have the ability to understand math. It was more so they had difficulties in understanding the content that was presented to them and the way it was presented to them. So we worked a lot on that project with publishers, with districts, and with schools as well. Then at some point we were like, we need funding to continue working on this project. And what happened was we asked our professor is what are the ways of getting funding for this project? 'Cause it's getting bigger and bigger. And there were two paths for us. One was going after investors such as venture capitalists and other angel investors in the Boston, Massachusetts area, or going after grants. And when you work in on a math project, the NSF and state grants and federal grants sounds very appealing because there are a lot of STEM focused grants out there. Kedar and I spent about we chose the latter, going after the grants instead of the investor money. And then we spent about 45, 46 hours collectively going through grants.gov, NSF, uh, Foundation Directory, Instrumental, like all these great databases that are out there, putting the keywords of what we were looking for. And after spending so much time, we realized the options that we were getting we didn't meet those eligibility requirements, and it wasn't really for us. What we were working on was very granular. It was very focused on linguistic barriers in K-12, very, very specific. And then what we did was we our year and a half almost here at the Harvard MIT community, we spent a lot of time on AI, like I said, AI and technology and AI product development and AI strategic consulting and figuring out like how can AI be used in so many different areas. So we build this in every almost every class. So we asked ourselves, why don't we build something that can go to every single database that is out there and give me what I need instead of showing me what exists out there. And that's what we started doing. So we built a tool, and after launching the first version of it, we got, I think it was nine, Kedar, you can correct me, 9 or 10 different grants that we could apply to that fit our need. And then we showed that to the professor and said, hey, this is what we got. I think it's so much faster because it only took 2 minutes to get this to get these options. And the feedback was, I think you should start talking to executive directors and grant development managers and nonprofit teams. They spend a lot of time in the discovery phase. So we started talking to a lot of them. Now, 3.5 months later, the product has evolved tremendously, which all came from meeting with we call them design partners, every new nonprofit that is interested in collaborating with us and understanding their pain point and what they spend a lot of time on, what they need. So we went from grant discovery, which is our basic, our core or fundamental product that we have, because we look at it this way. You can use all the other databases out there because they show you what exists. Why you would use Grantlytics is that it shows you what fits based on your profile and based on your need, right? So grant discovery was the core thesis. Then we moved to grant writing because it just felt very adjacent to what we're doing. You have now found a grant that you're interested in applying to. Let's start writing on it, right? So we added grant writing, and then from there we added pipeline management, which you will see all of these things from Kedaar. Essentially, we we saw that a lot of organizations are using spreadsheets and Excel files to look at their pipeline of the grants that they're working on, the upcoming ones, the awarded ones, the rejected ones, etc. And then now we're using that information in the platform to be more wise about it and use that information, such as if you were awarded a grant, how can we leverage that information from the grant type that you were awarded, from the funder that you were awarded? Are there similar funders out there? Are there similar grants out there? So now if you're using the pipeline on the dashboard and moving back and forth from your drafting something to you want something, you got rejected, it helps us help you to get the next grant that fits your purpose and your project and your programs. I'll stop there for now. And I'll give it to Kedar, who can show you these three main components. And like Karen said, there's so many other stuff that we can touch upon in the Q&A section. Thank you, and Kedar, please take it over.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abdi. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and we can dive into Grantlytics. This is the platform for grant discovery, writing, management. all those other things as well. And we're so excited to be here today and share this with all of you. I think the best way to try this out is with one of you as I sort of go through the platform, and then we can try more and more um, of your use cases as it sort of comes up. But the first one I saw in the chat was actually from Dan Daniel. As soon as Abdi said put some interest in the chat, Dan Daniel was in there, pick me, pick me. So Dan, if you want to come off mute, and we can try this out together and put in a prompt to see if there's funding opportunities for your organization. And if
I'm here.
not,
Thank you very much.
awesome. Nice to meet you, Dan. So let me give you a little breakdown of how this works and how you can sort of get to your funding needs. So we have two ways to search. You can do a free form search that's very broad, and you can sort of, think about dumping all of your needs. But what we find has been more useful is a guided search, right? Specific need for funding for this organization based in a specific location with specific funding sources and a timeline. So Dan, what do you need funding for today? Tell me a little bit more about some key programs or your organization.
So our organization is focused on children with cancer who live in North or South Carolina.
Okay. Based in North and South Carolina. And I guess in terms of funding specifically, are you looking at, state funding, private foundations? Are you still open to federal funding? What does that sort of look like for you?
We have had most success with private foundations and corporate giving.
Okay, let's focus on that. And why don't we exclude federal while we're at it, so we don't get a more research oriented NSF, those kind of grants as well that are more
Yes.
limited in nature.
Yes.
And let's just see what's coming up, in the new year, right? We come back from holiday season and we jump into the new year and we'll see what's out there. Does this look good to you?
It does.
Awesome. So we'll run this. Thank you so much, Dan, for that. And just for everyone, the way that this sort of works now, as you can see, this is logged into my profile, but there's a whole onboarding process, right? So let's say that I was Dan, I would be coming on and I'd be filling out details about my organization, my funding profile, annual budget, any funding needs, target beneficiaries, impact focus areas, things like that. And that's to build an organizational profile that we then feed into every search. So you can think about what I'm doing right now is I'm making a search for Dan based on my profile. But think about how powerful it would be if Dan is making a search on his profile within the platform as well. It'd be more targeted, more specific, geared towards more of those eligibility factors there. And what we're doing, as Abdi mentioned, is we've built out these agents that are looking at all of these opportunities from federal, state, local, foundations, corporate, international, whatever it might be, and then sort of paring it down and really creating this funnel to get to the core opportunities that are relevant for Dan and that are eligible for Dan in this specific case. And so we'll sort of see these opportunities come up, and then I'll walk you through what those results look like, how they can be improved, and then what the rest of the process looks like as well. Yeah.
I would just add, I did this for Together SC when we subscribed and had our profile built out, and in about 2 minutes, it identified 8 potential grants for us, which was pretty impressive.
Amazing. Thank you, Karen. As you can see here, so within a minute and a half, I found 18 matches, Dan. And some of these you might be familiar with, which is great. And some of these you might not be. And that's the point. How can we improve discoverability? So how we have it is the fund or the grant itself, the funder, deadlines, amounts if we're able to get them, and more specifically, why it matches your project. This is what we find is the very important part here. This is what Abdi was referring to when we say we find what best fits, not what just exists. So Dan, as I sort of go through this, you can tell me if these are relevant for your organization as well. We put in a high level prompt. Jane's Fund, CCME here, Prioritized Healthcare for Children in the Carolinas.
So I'm familiar with CCME. We've applied to them before. So that would be very relevant. Um, Sisters of Charity
Great.
is an organization that we have received funding from in the past, so that would be very relevant. The other two are I've not heard of before.
Okay, that's great. And as we sort of go down this list, we got 18 options, right? So there's so many
Yeah.
options that we can see. We can see if they're relevant. We can see, oh wow, there's one here in March, there's one here in April. They have different funding amounts. These are things you're able to customize as well in your profile, and I'll be showing that later as well, what that onboarding process sort of looks like. Um, but hopefully, Dan, this is just an indicator that wow, there's a lot of funding out there that I might have not been exposed to before or known about sort of in this space.
And then based on the results, if I wanted, like for instance, several of those are popping up are food related, which is
Hmm.
not within our scope. So is there a way to exclude funders to make the search even more specific?
Yeah, great question. So there's a couple of ways to make things more specific. The first one, like I mentioned, is actually what's in your profile. So I'll jump to that since that's very relevant as to how a search is made. If we think of your profile as this is your first thing you're doing when you come on and you start onboarding. Um, it's asking for things like your name, your website, which we're able to sort of scrape a lot of that information as well, the type of organization you are and where you're based, and as well as your focus area. So Dan, here you'd specifically focus on health and medicine, right? So then it wouldn't come up with maybe the food security ones or some of the other ones that are more category focused in that session and sort of in that nature there, and along as trying to find things that sort of resonate with your mission as well. The other thing is if you're looking to exclude specific funders, you can hit have you received grants before and right past the grants, right? Because maybe there's funders that you've already gotten funding from and you want to find other funders similar to those, or you've already applied to that funder this cycle and you don't want that funder to show up again. That's also another way to sort of play around with sort of these funding needs as well as your funding rate, your budget, the types of support you need as well, which is more specific, right? Do I need project funding? Do I need more capacity building grants? Is there specific eligibility notes that are sort of needed there? And that's how you get more of those targeted results there. The big thing is, and I'll go back to our search results, Dan. Um, the big thing is in general, the more searches you make, and this is just the first search, right? But the more searches you make, the more it learns from what you're putting in and be able to learn, okay, this is Dan's cancer, nonprofit organization. These are the things that they're focused on specifically. This is their top, this is their group. These are the opportunities. These are the programs. Let's learn more and more and more. So over time, we're sort of getting more narrow searches. And that's why you can sort of play around with even the guided search, right? Maybe it's looking at let's focus only on private foundations and exclude everything else, or let's focus on a different timeline, or let's put in some different keywords in the initial prompt there. Hopefully that answers your question there, Dan.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
And then from that point, once you find something that is relevant to you, let's go with the Brown family, for example, you can actually start working on the application itself. So we won't spend too much time on the writing and the management side of things. Those are for future webinars that we'll be doing together with Together SC. But just as sort of an overview, once you find something relevant, you're able to put in details about your organization or your program that can be reused over many applications. Because one of the big pain points that we had, and I'm sure a lot of you have, is you're constantly reworking the same information for different funders and for different grant applications. So being able to have one spot where you can easily put in all of your details, put in the questions of your application, and then be able to generate a grant proposal. And to show you what this looks like in practice, Abdi, mentioned our math project that we had worked on, and we had basically put in this was for the NSF. we had put in all of our details there, and it generated us a proposal that structured all of our details, but more specifically answers each of the questions that a grant application has or a funder will have, making sure that it's aligned to what the funder is looking for and what their priorities are, but while keeping your organization and your sort of story, mission, impact from the ground, your voice as a whole, very, very sort of intact and not changed, and not sacrificed in that sort of manner there. Once you have something here, we say like this gets you a very solid first draft. You can continue editing it. You can continue improving it with AI. You can even download it as a PDF and attach different documents to it and get something more structured that you can submit as an LOI or share around the organization as well, and be able to sort of leverage as a way to see, okay, here's the grant, sort of this application package. We have our grant with all the information, questions and answers. That's sort of an overview of the writing side. And then lastly, once you've found something, once you've written something, how do you actually see where you are in your processes? So, having a pipeline instead of managing things in Excel sheets here or Word documents there, or, calendars all over the place, being able to have a one-stop hub for seeing all of your different opportunities, knowing where you are in that entire process, and then being able to, assign it to different programs, move it around based on how statuses change as well, and more of that as well. So I'll stop there for now. Happy to answer any questions in the meantime, and also happy to run more searches for people based off their needs and see if there's other
Hey,
factors that people want to test out.
Kedaar, we have about 8 people that have said pick me as well. I don't think we can get through all of those today, but we've kept track of that. Two questions that I see that I want to have you
Mhm.
address, both you and Abdi. One is, again, there might be some confusion. We were talking about your earlier stage beta. Some people have said they want to be a beta tester, but this is a finished product at this point. That's not to say that you won't, keep improving it in future phases, but we're not really doing beta anymore, correct? We are now offering this product for a subscription for our members to use. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Thank you, Karen, for pointing that
Okay.
out. So it is a live product. But what we do also, and Karen knows this, and
Mhm.
the rest of the team is, if there are things that you're missing in your grant application process, the more that we hear some pain points, the more that we understand that they're a crucial part of your process, then we look into developing that as well. So it's a finished product, but it's an ongoing product as we get more feedback and build a product that would help you in all of the phases of grant applications.
Which is awesome. And again, you referenced 45 to 50 hours. I think everyone on this call can relate. We've spent hours upon hours looking. That time could be spent, perfecting the actual grant, the writing of the grant and
Yes.
other things. I will also note I use that learn more button before even starting a draft because that made me double check as to whether or not I truly was eligible, or I may find out and
Mhm.
learn more that I just missed the cycle, that it closed on December 11th, and so I need to wait for the next cycle. So I would recommend that checking that out as well. It just takes you there, and that leads to another question that Ashley has in the chat. She is at Sisters of Charity Foundation. And so she's talking about how they've just changed their strategic plan. They're going to be hyper focused on poverty eradication. So some of the things that your AI tool may have scraped were accurate in 2025, but may not be accurate as of today or early 2026. So is your recommendation really that that everyone continue to update your website and make sure that the most current information, whether you're a nonprofit or a funder, is there because that's basically what you're searching, right? And so garbage in, garbage out, accurate information in, accurate information out. So could you just address that question? She's asking, how can they make sure that the search results reflect the changes that they have just made to their grant process and to the grants themselves?
Yeah. So the good thing is that those systems that we've built are constantly searching and are constantly active. So for example, if I look at the federal level or local state levels, as grant opportunities expire, they're sort of coming out of the database, and as new ones come up, they're coming in. So it's sort of a constant process in terms of we want to make sure that we're keeping the most up-to-date opportunities available, and as things expire, remove that as well. When it comes to your own websites and your own processes, that it would be great, if as you update that to just keep it more relevant wherever you can as well. But rest assured, even if there's old expired things on a funder's website, for example, we would be able to sort of parse those out and not try and recommend broken opportunities.
Awesome. Another question is about one of our nonprofits here, Suzanne, who is based here in South Carolina, but a lot of the healthcare providing that they do is for rural Honduras. So would it find grants for international work on behalf of this South Carolina-based nonprofit?
I think, Karen, can we use Susan as the next demo tester?
Yeah, do we have time to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
All
Susan,
right.
come up, please.
Suzanne, you're come on down. You're the next contestant.
Sorry, I didn't have my headset on. I was just listening. But yeah, well, great. Thanks for calling on me. I am the executive director of the Carolina Honduras Health Foundation, and pretty much all of our work is in Honduras. So we send teams of doctors, nurses, medical professionals
Mhm.
to clinics in Honduras to provide medical care. We also do some telemedicine. We could use funding for medications, for, medical equipment, for vitamins. To, scholarships for medical students in Honduras.
Okay, this is great, and it's a great test case, Suzanne. And I'm gonna try the freeform search for this one, right? Because
Okay.
this is a great example of, oh wow, this might not fit a single bucket in terms of let's make it more structured. So
Hmm.
it makes sense to, let put those things down and see what's sort of out there. So and you can help me with this as well. If there's something more specific to put in here as well. How does this look as a start? You can
That
be
looks
more
like a great
specific.
start.
Okay, so let us focus on opportunities. And again, let's say like early 2026, just to make it more relevant, so it doesn't give us something way too far down the
Okay.
line as well. Um, let's go with this. And similarly, right? Again, it's sort of the same thing of the more information you're able to provide up front, the more relevant the results will be. So Suzanne,
Okay.
you'd come on and you'd fill out that same profile, and then your locations would actually be, Honduras, but you're operating out of South Carolina, and it would be you'll have more of those niche cases there.
Hmm.
But that's something that we, that's the beauty of what we wanted to do in terms of how do we use AI to solve for those more unique use cases. Because again, when we were doing something super niche, it was like, how do we find this in a database? Right? Like
Yeah.
so it's not as accurate as it would be. But how has it been trying to find funding? Operating in Honduras but being based in South Carolina. Is that very tough?
So it's interesting that I've been the executive director for 1 month now, and I do have a background in higher ed, international education. So I'm accustomed to seeing, some of those grants from the State Department and USAID, and I know that those are, yeah, they've been slashed a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm brand new to this position, and obviously it's a little different. So I've Googled a few things and I've found a few possibilities. But again, like you said, I just spend a lot of time every now and then searching and.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that was that's another thing, to improve the just thinking about it now, we could have said exclude federal opportunities, let's focus and then let's focus on international funding opportunities. And there's so many ways to play around with it and sort of
Okay.
test out where those things would be. But 1 month in, I hope it's going well.
It is. I'm very busy trying to learn everything, but I really, I do, like I said, I have a background in grant writing, so I this is definitely one of my priorities. But yeah.
Incredible, incredible. I should These results should be popping up soon. But thanks for the great questions, everyone. And yeah, there's a lot more to the platform in general as well. If there's any other questions, happy to answer those as we sort of get through
Yeah.
this
Uh,
demo as well.
Wanted to flag a couple other questions for you that I'm seeing. Some of them are for us here
Mhm.
at Together SC, and we'll address pricing in a little bit. But we specifically were looking to try to come up with something that would be really affordable that you can invest in on a monthly basis, and and not have it be too cost prohibitive. But some of the other questions are about. Working in other states and saying they realize this is a South Carolina offering, but wanted us to confirm that this is available outside of South Carolina to other organizations. My understanding is we're the first state trade association to do this, so we're innovating here a little bit. That's not to say that other people can't do that, but if you're a Together SC member, you're again eligible to purchase this product, even if you have some clients in South Carolina, some clients in North Carolina, some clients in Georgia, which for us is very, very common. Most of the folks that we work with, especially in the consultant collaborative, they work either nationally or they work primarily in the Southeast. But I just kind of wanted to flag that question. Another question is just sort of more general about using AI to develop the grant applications. I know this came up maybe a couple of years ago when AI was really just kind of coming onto the scene, and particularly in academia, professors and high school teachers were very concerned about students using AI to do their work instead of their students doing the work. So the question is about, are there any concerns using AI to develop the grant application? Could it be flagged in some way by an organization which would automatically disqualify that? I think that question makes sense, but I guess my understanding is that AI is not future, it's present, and it's being used and it's being embraced by all sorts of organizations. So I'm not aware of any organization that would disqualify this. In fact, we just had a group of funders at our Carolina Leading Seminar, learning seminars last week, and they actually encouraged the nonprofits that were applying for their grants to be using AI appropriately and ethically, but to do a better job, again, to narrow and to make sure you're truly eligible and not waste their time or your time. But none of them told us that they would disqualify an application simply because it used AI technology to improve it. But I'm going to let the two subject matter experts take that one on because that's a big question.
No, I think you answered the question, Karen. But one thing that we saw early on was, as I said, we started with Grant Discovery and then added these other product lines that were very important in the process. We've spoken with some foundations early on, and they mentioned that some people tend to use ChatGPT and other platforms. And then when you're sending an application, if you haven't removed these icons or smiley faces or whatever that is on the proposal that you're sending, it kind of flags that you haven't put a lot of thought into the writing itself. So those are the stuff that we heard early on. What Kedaar showed in this platform is focused on the storytelling that is alignment between the funder that you're looking at in this case, DRK or Dan Paul, their focus area with the with your profile and your mission and your focus area, and then we ended up creating a proposal that makes sense for both parties. But then there are a lot of edit opportunities, improve with AI in the platform itself, which you can continue improving upon. Other than that, we haven't heard flagging. I think you can't really flag it because also some foundations are using their program officers are using AI to look at different applications and who they would want to fund. So um, I hope that clarifies as well. But Karen, you answered the question. Thank you.
There's
Should we
also a
jump on
question. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Kedar.
results?
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks for that, Karen. Great question. 8 matches, Suzanne. And I can, you sort of see here the first couple ones are foundations, and I can see the more foundations coming up. But again, offering different amounts, and these are again geared towards what we put in, and it's also based on my current profile that's in there. But if your Honduras work includes pediatric or youth health, and Dan
It
Paul is the
does.
place to go. PNC Foundation here. If your Honduras health work includes education or community development, then this one's a specific good fit.
It
State
does.
Farm community grants there as well. So now you're starting to see, okay, here are some funders that are willing to fund nonprofits working on international projects led by US organizations,
Great.
right? And it's also a great indicator of, okay, now I don't have to turn to the federal or the government oriented
Yeah.
grants, because there are organizations here that are willing to fund my international sort of projects or programs as well. And we can see, Bank of America, Dell here as well. And oh wow, Together SC popped up. I don't know if that's true, but I guess it's because we put it in South Carolina there.
It's actually not accurate. We're not a funder,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I get asked that every day, but we're a tiny nonprofit ourselves, so we seek funding, but we don't give funding. So maybe we need to do something to improve our website so that that's clear.
Yeah, that you don't give grants.
Right.
But yeah, so and the way that it would work now, Suzanne, is that you would now go back and you would be like, okay, these are what I'm seeing now. Maybe there's ways to get a bit more, more narrow, more focused.
Hmm.
Here are ways to like continue improving. And then once you find something that's relevant, then you can go through that process itself.
Kadar,
But
could you hit one of the blue bars that says learn
oh
more,
yeah, yeah.
just so that people can see what it does
Yeah, let me
in that search result?
do that. So for example, if we go to the DRK Foundation here and hit learn more, it'll take us to their apply page or their grants page or whatever it might be. Oh, it's
Mhm.
not there. Oh
Oh
yeah,
no.
their apply for funding page is where it should have. So it would take
Mhm.
us with all these foundations, it's usually reach out or interest, or it's more LOIs as well, more
Mhm.
calls when it works in that case as well. And so all of these would just take you to those foundation specific
Mhm.
pages here as well. So maybe the community grants page from State Farm here as well. And so if it's a direct grant application, it'll link to the direct grant application. And if it's something where it's more reach out, like here, now we have community grants from State Farm that are relevant for you, and what the process looks like as well, right? And then now you can filter, okay, if this is only invitation, then something else to focus on your search is, okay, I need things that are open now that I'm eligible for, that are, open call applications, for example. Um, but again, it's sort of an indicator of what is out there as well.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I think I'm sold. Sign me up.
Well, I think the other thing that I just want to be clear about is that a number of you asked about, who is this for? And right now, there are thousands of nonprofits in our state. We are privileged to support about 1,100, just shy of 1,100 nonprofits that are members of Together SC. And the vast majority of you are small, like we are. We are a six-person team. We're tiny. We do not have a grant writer on staff. We do not have a development director on staff. You're talking to her. Like you, we wear 6 or 7 hats each. So this was designed for those smaller nonprofits to be able to do this, to really help you save time, not searching, You may still decide, hey, I found three new funders that I never knew existed that I might have a shot at. You may still decide to go to our consultant collaborative and hire a part-time grant writer to help you write them because you don't have the capacity to do that yourself. So again, look at this as a tool to sort of help you expand your staff. Um, Knowing that the vast majority of you are not going to have a development manager or director or a dedicated grant writer on your team. So we did keep that in mind that most of you are doing all of it, and that's the nature of what we do as resourceful, resilient South Carolina nonprofits. So again, if you do have a person that is the director of development at your organization, that is awesome. And then this person would be able to use this tool. And then they could spend more time on the actual relationship building and the writing of the grants and the other aspects of development, but wouldn't spend hours upon hours searching. So anyway, I just wanted to address that because we're really aware that most of us don't have that wonderful opportunity to do that. I'm going to turn it back over to the guys and also Brooke, because a lot of questions are about what does this cost? How does this work? And so it's 10:45, so I think we do want to talk about the mechanics a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm happy to show on my screen how to receive your member discount. And then I can pass it back over to the Grantlytics team to talk about pricing there. But I'm just going to show this screen real quick. I've put in the chat, and I can add it again. Here we go. The Together SC Grantlytics page. So you'll go here to Together SC and click on the Grantlytics page. On that page, you'll see a lot of information and also a button how to claim your subscription discount. You'll click on the blue button here. It will ask you to log into your Together SC membership. You do have to be a Together SC member to receive your 20% discount. And just let us know if you need to renew your membership or if you've accidentally lapsed, and we can get you back up and running really quickly. But all you have to do is log in and click log in to purchase, provide a little bit more information, name, organization, your annual budget, your email address, and your role. Then you can click checkout and you complete the checkout. This is really just purchasing the Grantlytics discount. It's just a way for us to better track what members are claiming this discount. And then from there on the confirmation screen, you'll receive that discount code. You'll also receive that discount code in a confirmation email. So you'll get it in two places just in case you lose it and you get distracted like I always do. You'll have it in two places. And we're here to support you and get you connected, and so is the Grantlytics team as well. Their email addresses are on the Grantlytics page. You can email them directly too, and I will pass it back to the Grantlytics team.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Brooke. Kedaar, if you could share the plans screen. So we have three plans or four, so that you can sign up for free to experience it a little bit. And then there's a starter plan and professional plan and impact plan. So the starter is about $2,000 a year, and but if you use it together as C discount, that comes around 1580, $1,584, I think. Um, but then if you like to use the professional, you can do that as well, the impact as well. Um, yeah, I think it's very clear there. If you have any questions, please put it in here or just come up to the screen. And we're happy to support you in any way we can. I think you can stop sharing, Kedaar. Thank you.
So if you were to choose, which is what Together SC chose, the starter plan, with the idea that you could always move up to professional if you're using it a lot and become a heavy user. With that discount, it ends up being $132 a month for your 12-month subscription, which we believe is very affordable for many nonprofits. And we understand not every nonprofit, and we know dollars are tight right now, but $132 in order to save this kind of time and money. Certainly, most of us are not looking to add additional development staff right now as much as we would like to, but this is a way to really fire up your development search. And then what we'll talk about in future sessions is, again, all those additional features, like what we are doing it together as C is not only are we searching for those grants and saving time, but then we're housing everything sort of in a hub, right, on the Grantlytics um, platform so that we can have all the grants that we found that we've applied for. We can also add grants, as Kedaar, said earlier, of grants that we already have. That we may be 2 years into a 3-year grant that we already have, but we still want to put that in the profile because it may help us find grants, other grants that are like that. We want to house everything all in one place, right? We don't want to have some grants in one place and then other ones in another place. So I think that we will explore more deeply some of the other benefits. Um, and I know some people had some questions too, but yes, you can essentially create timelines so that you can be watchful of when something is coming due or when you're supposed to owe a funder reporting on the grant that they gave you, or all of those really, really important dates that, we all need to have baked on our calendars so that we don't miss them. Um, Often I hear from nonprofit leaders that they are very disappointed because they just read about a grant, but it closed 5 days ago and they missed it. And that's extremely upsetting. So this might be a way to project manage that as well. Um, are there other key questions that are in the chat that we didn't get to? There may be, so we may need to follow up with some of y'all after this, but is there anything else that was super important?
I think Kedar, the Google one, you can like I think Kedar, if you can share the screen again, yes, you can connect your Google Outlook to continue having the deadlines in your calendar. Um, I
Yeah.
think
So
there you go.
we have a calendar tab here, and when you log into, you can either log in with your Google or Microsoft account initially to begin with as well, and then be able to export the entire calendar that's here specifically into your calendar. You can see a little Google icon here, or even for if you use Microsoft or any of these other platforms as well. You can export individual events, you can export everything together, but all these deadlines get added, and you can see here, it tells you how many days you have left until things are arriving, and then sort of have these alerts that come up. The ones that are sooner are more prominent in nature there as well.
Mhm.
So that's something else that we're like to do. The other thing I will highlight, since I'm here, is with the different plans that we have, the starter plan has what you can call one seat on it. So it's one person who can use it, whether you're the executive director or development director, and be able to use that. Professional and impact upwards are considered organizations. So you can have multiple people logging on, searching, writing, working on different opportunities together as well, and sort of see the same workspace, as we like to call it here, as well. But I know every organization has their own specific needs, and whether it's comes down to pricing or comes down to specific features or whatever it might be, we're here to work with you. Like Brooke said, our information is on the Together SE page for everyone to reach out if you have more specific questions that are more niche for your needs. And yeah.
Yeah. So a couple more questions before we kind of conclude. For people that just kind of want to check it out, there is that free just to go in, and it's going to allow you to do one search. It's just to play, really, just to kind of get your hands dirty and try it out. But the 20% discount applies to whichever version of the Grantlytics plan you want, whether that's, starter or again, professional or impact. So again, the 20% applies to each of those. But it is a 1 year subscription. So, and again, this right now is available and there's no deadline. We're not gonna pull a bait and switch on you to say like, oh, you have to sign up by January 5th in order to get the 20%, or after that you don't get it. So no, we're offering this to our members. This is going to be really our big new product launch for 2026. We're kind of previewing it today for you. We'll be doing another session in January. Be doing many other sessions on getting more out of the tool as well in January, February, and March. So we're going to continue to do that, knowing that many folks said they were interested in this but couldn't make today's meeting. We understand that. But if you wanted to come back on a follow-up as well and learn more, you're certainly welcome to do that. But again, there's no time limit on the 20%, but you are signing up for an annual subscription. I just want to be clear that starter does have a certain number of searches you can do per month in it. So, but most of us, I don't believe, given how busy we are, would be would be doing, would have a problem with the starter in terms of doing 10 searches a month. But if you found that you were having great success, then you would simply move up to the next level of the platform. And pay a little bit more for that. But again, the 20% would still apply for those higher level options like that. So I would encourage people just to, again, check out what we've put in the chat, check it out, talk to your team, think about it, see if this might be a good fit for you. We really want you to be successful. We know it's been a really, really tough year this year. A lot of us have lost funding. That federal and state picture don't look very rosy for 2026. So we're all going to have to continue to be really resourceful and find, other grants out there and other revenue streams. So we thought this was timely from that perspective as well. So again, we will hold on to other things, other questions that maybe we didn't get to. I know some folks said, could this eliminate other things that you might have? We're not suggesting that you should cancel your GuideStar directory or Grant Station. That's up to you. You decide, again, what is giving you value for dollars with the subscriptions that you have. They all have a role to play. But you may decide, if you choose to try this and use this, that this can really do a lot for you, and definitely could pay for itself in one newfound grant that you never knew existed, and then go from there. So from our perspective, that's super, super exciting for all of us to be able to do that. So I'm going to leave the final word to Abdi and Kedaar.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. And just also, like Kedaar said, if you would like to have one-on-one with us and talk more about your specific needs, you can do that as well after you complete the process that Brooke showed you earlier. Other than that, thank you so much. Thanks to Together SC, Karen, Brooke, and the team. I think we're very excited. We're very excited to work with you. And if there's anything you need, please let us know. We're here to help. And yeah, thank you so much. Kedar, you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you covered it. Again, this thank you for doing all the great work that you're doing, and hopefully we can help in some way and continue learning from each other.
We wish you again happy holidays. We know we're coming to the year end, so we hope you all have a little bit of opportunity to have some rest and relaxation and recharge for the year ahead. And we look forward to working with you and serving you. So again, happy holidays, and we hope to see you on another webinar soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.